Let me see. Hold on. I have to say we got some nice pictures that we use for our snapshot. This is pretty snazzy. All right, let me see. Is it on? Oh, there we are. All right, cool. Let me just mute this actually. What up? Hey, Otso, and thank you for joining while you're here. Dela slurping and whatnot. It's cool. But yeah.
Hydration.
No, thanks everyone for joining, everyone that's here too. Yeah, having Shagsworth and returning guest Dela. This is actually something that I plan to do that I want to have a meeting about, which is kind of like a roundtable thing. So it's not even just going to be like me doing like 1v1 with people. So this is something kind of like a test for the future streams. Dela wanna slurp gate. Dela obviously wanted me to give a very inappropriate name, like niggas at a round table or something. So
Yeah.
we might
Why
have to
not?
call it something
Why not?
differently.
Why not?
But yeah, what's up, everybody? How's everyone
Discrimination.
doing? It's not discriminating. How's Shagsworth? You know what? We'll go with the privilege. So I'm gonna ask Shagsworth how he's doing right now, and then we can get to you.
Guys, I'm doing well. I hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, just I'm happy to be here. I've been wanting to get in and talk with you guys about this stuff for anyone really. I mean, but I appreciate your guys' opinion on this stuff. We tweet about it a lot. We've talked about it before. You know, I'm pretty excited to get into the nitty gritty of ideology and storytelling nowadays because it seems pretty screwed up.
Yeah, y'all definitely tweet a lot more than I do. That's something that I'm just not doing at the moment. Kind of doing this little fast with Vanessa when it comes to social media, but obviously can't when I want to do certain things like streaming. But other than that, I've been completely void of news, except I know what happens in the comic and movie sphere as of lately. But yeah, what about you, Dela? How you doing?
I'm still breathing, unfortunately.
God damn it, don't say it.
I'm still breathing, unfortunately. Every time I go on the internet, I just want to fucking rip my head off.
Well, I feel like you feel like this because I just saw you were playing League of Legends, and I feel like
I
that's what
wasn't.
it does
No,
to you.
I'm sitting on League. I'm not playing. I played like one A rank game, and that's it. I haven't really been playing.
That's it.
I didn't
Air
play it
something
all
out
day.
right now. All right, you know what? We can air it out talking about, I guess, what's going on with this stuff right here. I know it's kind of weird because I was thinking about it when I had the conversation with Vanessa with PC culture and entertainment, but I think this one may be a bit different when I want to talk about with we noticed that the message, I know Shagsworth brought it up, the Critical Drinker, who's one of my favorite YouTubers, talks about it in movies, but where it comes to ideology versus story. And it seems with modern films, that's really just beating everyone over the head, like pretty hard. And it's more often than not with reboots, I notice, or just old franchises. And I know that we all talk about it a lot, and it's pretty cool because I wanted to get the three of us together to kind of tackle that. When I talked with Shagsworth and probably trying to bring up examples was the first one he wanted, I think that you listed was the Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah,
It was the 2016 Ghostbusters.
that one's gratuitous, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really just bad in every way. But I know what you were talking about when it came to like the message, or it's weird to even say so much ideology before story with that one, but they were just trying to accomplish something in just the most ugly manner, though. And yeah, I want if you can dive into that, Shagsworth. What's like an example that you see within that movie that's kind of like what we're talking about now?
Well, I just think I don't know. I like it. The movie on its whole, like you could pick apart a lot of aspects of that movie that are just really, really bad. And like right before we started, I was just kind of talking about how like movies have changed so dramatically. Like where a movie like the original Ghostbusters was like the humor was subtle, but it also had this element of like suspense. Like these guys were playing with a power they didn't quite understand, but they were, ghost fanatics, and you had the comedians of the time kind of coming together in this kind of quirky way. And it made for good, compelling story. Like, oh, this might actually happen. These guys might actually exist in the real world. And, this kind of hodgepodge crew of scientists. But they needed, the message of like, well, we need powerful females, right? We need powerful women Not just Janine sitting at the desk. Let's change her into an even dumber version. Like Janine was still like she wasn't even stupid. She was just a secretary. And she was actually kind of a badass in her own way. Just kind of like, nah, whatever.
She got moxie. She always had a mouth, but
She
was
got
hilarious.
moxie.
She got
Wait,
moxie.
hold up.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
I want you to record this. This nigga says
she got
moxie.
Yep.
What fucking white man dictionary you been reading, nigga?
See, you know what? I said that because I knew your racist ass would say something.
Wait, hold on.
He's like, hold on, that's not the black race language.
I can't be racist because I'm black. Remember.
That's true. Dela holds no international power, so
exactly
he cannot be racist.
No.
Moxie. This man was watching a 1950 slew movie. Yeah.
I was watching Dick Tracy before this, and that just popped out
like I
nowhere.
said, you were watching an old movie. Dick Tracy saying, yeah. She got real moxie. That dame got some real moxie. Yeah.
No, but that was great. No, but I definitely know what you mean. For example, like with that, with them bringing in Chris Hemsworth, just him kind of like being, just the kind of jock that he is, but then making him just a dumbass to kind of promote them a bit more. It was just kind of, and then even the villain himself too was kind of just like a straight up dude, basically more of like the liberal YouTubers. Honestly, I would compare him to, but like it's just, yeah, don't even make that face. He definitely looks like a couple of people we know, and and like the main villain, and then also and then Chris Hemsworth. It's just the male characters. They just all was just written just poorly, and it was nothing but to propel like the female characters up. And that's with a lot of movies now, which I notice is more of the theme when it comes to, let's just say, women empowerment. But yeah, with this movie with Chris Hemsworth, especially, like this was post Thor, like after he's done Thor, after like kind of like the Marvel Cinematic.
Yeah, it was after Avengers. I think it was probably around Infinity War that came out. It was 2016. So
I think regardless, he was Thor. Like he was
definitely Thor. Yeah,
he was Thor. But so like even though we had all these people in the movie, he was still the one that was probably cashing in the most. Like if it wasn't for this movie compared to them, at least. So like he was a big name, but they had to. I felt like they put a big name in here and then just to make him look dumb. It was weird.
Well, not only that, like so they make this character look stupid. There's nothing like compelling about him. He's just there for laughs, which I don't know. I guess you have that character occasionally. But not only that, but they do exactly what they hate being done to them, right? Women don't like to be objectified, but all Kristen Wiig did that whole time was like, oh my God. Oh. And I think at one party he may have had his shirt off or something. And it's like you're just, I don't know. I can't stand when they do that. Like, don't objectify me, but we'll objectify everything about a man. It was stupid. And that was like one of the first things I noticed. I was like, what's with this Hemsworth character? It's not even like, it's not even the same character it's derived from. I don't know, it's just lazy writing,
Yeah.
You missed the point of the movie. That's why.
What was the point though?
What was the
message?
It's just make a movie. That's what it was. We're going to play on just the name Ghostbusters. We don't care if it's good. It's Ghostbusters. You're going to buy it. You're going to consume. You know why? Because fucking Ghostbusters. That's what it is. Yeah. So with that whole movie, I said this many times. The only way that movie could have worked if at the very end of the movie, while the Egon of the group was messing around with her little device, it ripped a hole, and it was like a dimensional hole, and you saw the original Ghostbusters look back at them, like everybody looked into that portal together and was like, and that's it. It ended, so it could show us like, okay, this is an alternate dimension. That's the only reason. That's the only way the movie could have worked. What my issue with the movie was, it was too much forced comedy. It didn't even seem like, was any of them really like professors or doctors? Because like,
Kristen Wiig was, and Melissa McCarthy, I think, were.
Yeah, I think they were both like doctors or professors of some sort.
Yeah. So if you remember the original movie, they were all doing this because like they believed in it.
Yeah.
While one was just trying to do it to hit on young females in college, they actually kind of believed in it. Well, who's the leader again? Bill
Was it
Murray's character.
Bankman?
Murray character, he didn't really believe in ghosts. He really didn't believe too much in them. He's kind of like, okay, whatever. And then they hired the last guy, and he was like, I'm just looking for a job. Then you had this MTA chick. She was like, it was too much, and it was like too much forced comedy, and it annoyed me. With Chris Hemsworth's character, the himbo, I just don't even know why that character is there. Like, it was just he was very annoying and obnoxious.
It was there to
So-
prop them up, to be
So-
honest, and to make them. I feel like I know everyone's gonna be like, kind of like maybe salty, but I think it was just to make them look smarter. He was just there. He was just easy on the eyes. He was in good shape. And I know that the director wanted a way like, well, usually it's a hot secretary and the guys over her, so he wanted to do the opposite. But to me, it was just kind of cringeworthy. So
Was
I think
Janine
it was to
hot
prop him up.
for the 80s? Was she considered hot for the 80s?
I mean, I didn't think she was like smoking or anything, but I thought she was like. I mean, go back and look at it. I mean, she's not.
I
she's
watched
not
it.
ugly.
She's not ugly. Yes, you're right. She's not ugly. You got to think. Sigourney Weaver was in there, and she was hot. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah, for that,
she was
yeah.
hot.
The-
But the whole thing, talking about like these movies where you just gender swap. At the end of the day, as a cis black man, I don't care if you gender swap. I just care if you have a good story. Let's use a perfect example: the Resident Evil movies, the original Resident Evil movies.
Oh man.
Horrible stories. But we watched them. You know why? It was Resident Evil. And we got stuck into that thing. No one cared that the main character was a female. I want to see an article. If you could find me an article right now that says people upset that the female character was female, was
And Resident Evil.
in Resident Evil movies.
I remember
I'll
I didn't even
redact everything I
have
said.
Yeah,
No
I
one said
remember I
anything.
didn't even have an issue with that. I was just
No one
like,
said-
oh shit, a Resident Evil movie. That's pretty
No one
cool. I mean,
cared.
who's this bitch? But I mean,
No one cared.
who's this person? I'm trying.
And
not
here's
to.
you know why it worked. Here's why it worked. It was her original fucking character. You never heard of her original, and she was done well. Mind you, the rest of the movie is just ridiculous what they were doing. But at the end of the day, it pulled you in. Let's go even further back. Alien, original female character. It pulled you in. The stories were good. You have it doesn't matter if it's a female, it doesn't matter if it's black, gay, it doesn't matter. As long as the story is good and pulls you in, that's what matters. Look at the B movie. The B
what?
movie.
Oh, the B movie.
The B movie. Here's why I'm
Like
gonna bring up.
the
Yes.
Can't
CG
wait
B
for
movie.
this.
Here's why I'm bringing up the B movie. You watch that movie for some reason, it's so bad. You just be like, I gotta finish this for some reason because the story I just can't let go.
With like
B-
Jerry Seinfeld, like the B, like he was in
Yes.
it.
Look at that. Have you ever watched that movie?
I have.
And did you finish it?
I mean, yeah.
Because you was just like, what the hell is this
I
going
mean,
on?
I mean, I felt that way with Matrix, but I still finished it.
Listen, I finished The Matrix twice. So the second time around, I was like, okay, this is a bad movie.
All right, I don't know about that for like example of like, but I do know what you mean. Where it's just like no matter what, even though we're seeing a lot of it in movies where it's just gender swapping or race swapping, we're seeing for the most part when they do that, the story kind of like focuses on that. Even if it's a movie that doesn't do it, like
Yay, we
Oh,
run the show
no.
now.
Oh no,
We took over.
oh
It is
the
man.
our
white man
time.
show now. Let's go.
Hey,
Oh wow, okay,
Anyway.
that was embarrassing. Can
we're editing
you hear me
out.
now?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, we
All
hear you.
right, no,
We
that
just
was
couldn't
weird.
see you.
I don't know why that did that. But yeah, to me, like one movie that did that in particularly, and it was the original IP, but they changed it up for I would say woke purposes, even though I really hate that word, is Candyman. I don't know if any of you seen the new Candyman, but the message is what beats you over the head over and over again. I'm talking about like up to the point where Vanessa had to leave the theater to kind of not even be around it. It was just bad.
I have
Yes.
to defend Candyman.
You have to defend Candyman?
I have to defend
You
it.
gotta be that guy.
No, here's why I'm gonna defend it. Not saying it was like a amazing movie. Is the thing is what he did with his messages. But at the same time, he was like, I'm gonna make it woke. But at the same time, I'm gonna point out the ignorance and the contradictions like within the black community.
Like what?
So remember when he was talking to his was his girlfriend's boyfriends and his boyfriend. So he's talking to them and they're saying like, look, they're kicking out all the black people. They put them, they're making all these high rise buildings and everything.
Oh, but
and
they live
stuff.
in a nice neighborhood.
And the
Yeah.
white guy was like, but you live in these buildings. So what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So like you're complaining about it, but yet you're doing it. Then when he was starting taking pictures in the hood, the lady who was like the promoter, she was like, you people like to profit on suffering. And he's like, what do you mean, you people? He's like, you artists, you go to these areas, you take pictures of poor people, you take people in downtrodden, and you make money off of them. So he kind of twisted it on his head, like, yes, this movie is going to speak about woke issues, but at the same time, you as a black community need to start waking up. You can't complain while living in the riches. You get what I'm saying? Don't complain about how there's all these luxury buildings are coming up when you're living in them.
Well, a lot of people do that now too. Like you get like Hassan complaining about capitalism and pushing.
We're not talking about Hassan. I don't like him.
But you know what I mean?
I'm
like,
gonna get angry about that.
No, yeah, but you know what I mean? Like there's people that are like sitting there benefiting from like the very systems they oppose, but yet they're buying these big mansions and stuff. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about, man? So I can see what you're saying. It's kind of like it's like anti-woke in that way, where or poking fun at it. And
yeah.
I mean, even in this movie, though, to me, I mean, obviously it'll be subjective, but it was overshadowed at the fact that the second they included police brutality, I would say that even overshadows some of the double standards that they're trying to say, like with the black community. For example, with the gentrification, but they were living in a nice neighborhood. I think that if you want to start in based off, and then they mentioned that Candyman was only created in a similar fashion when a black man was killed unjust. That shit to me overshadowed almost everything. And I wouldn't even give them credit, even for that small snippet that you said. And even like, oh, you artists benefit all. I can't even because of that. To me, that overshadows it like completely. Even kind of Matrix did the same thing too. When we mentioned like, oh, they were calling people sheeple, but then they still had like their woke moments and whatnot. But yeah, I totally get what you mean though, like with that. But the second that, to me, it was more with Candyman. To me, I wouldn't consider it even a horror movie. It wasn't a horror movie. To me, it wasn't.
I think there was some good.
It was like some good cinematography, and it was more like a documentary. But for the most part, it kept talking about they've been doing this to us for years, and then they brought up police brutality. It just kept popping up, and that was the message. It wasn't like, let's be real, Candyman isn't a tool against white supremacy. He killed everybody. He did not discriminate. You can be a little black kid, you can be a little white kid. He was still killing you if you called his name in the mirror. And I know they showed that in the movie, but it was just weird, like the messaging. And to me, the messaging is what overpowered like the actual story. The story was about this connecting to the other Candyman. It was, I thought like the concept of it was cool before it came out. But then the second they started throwing in like the messaging, to me, it overpowered the story. I couldn't concentrate on the story. The fact that this is what they want to do with Candyman. Let's just say if they wanted to make more movies, the second they said like, oh, this is how Candyman's going to be created is when a black man is killed unjust. That right there was already like, I hated it. I couldn't stand it.
Well, and to kind of add to what Dela was saying, what really makes good storytelling different from bad storytelling is that you show, you don't tell, right? Like, and then like it's a rule that I've followed my entire life as I've gotten better at writing my own stories. Don't let a character tell you what their motive is. Like, show through their actions. That's like why actions speak louder than words, right? When we see how people act on things. Like, I could sit here and tell you all day that I'm the nicest guy in the world, but if all I do is go and rob little old ladies, well, it probably tells you something about my character. Just because a person says something doesn't make it necessarily true. And when characters in movies nowadays, they stand up in front of the camera and they say, I am this, I am powerful. It's like, just show me you're powerful. But like do it in a compelling way. Like in the new Matrix, like Neo's moveset is is down to a force push, right? Like he barely does any sort of like kung fu, whereas like you had these elaborate
He does kung
choreographed
fu.
scenes.
It was barely, bro.
Barely
I mean, I don't
kung fu
blame
in that new
him,
movie.
but
And when it was kung fu, it was slow. Dude, I thought he was gonna roll out in a wheelchair and start doing kung fu. It was so bad.
I feel
Like,
bad. Yeah.
But like, and that's what made the Matrix movies so good. They showed you everything about this world, even down to the colors. Like, if it's blue, you're in the Matrix. If you're green, it's in the Matrix. If it's blue, you're in the real world. Like everything about the original trilogy showed you how fake this world was or how real it was. And all these movies now are just like they're just taking this like woke cudgel, and like beating you over the head constantly with it. And you're like, okay, I get it. Like you're powerful. Stop.
Yeah, I mean, if you some of the movies, like I really get annoyed when they start dropping hints of like issues going on. And when you go to a movie, you don't want to have to deal with the stuff that's out in the real world. I know what it's like in the real world. I see it every day. I watch the news. I know what it's like to be a black man in America. I know all this stuff.
Probably
I don't
watch
want to
fake
see it.
news.
I don't want to see it. When I went Black Panther, everybody was like, Black Panther is amazing, is the greatest. I watched it, and the minute this motherfucker Killmonger mentioned, we're dying out there, and I was like, oh my god, I'm done with this movie. I hate it. I hate this movie. I'm done.
Message, like they did that, and don't be a mess to South Central drinking
Yeah.
juice in the hood.
But-
Like,
but-
message.
and then when you give me another movie like Atomic Blonde, Atomic Blonde was set like what in the 80s during the Cold War.
Yeah.
Did I need to hear her say, "Oh, they're looking down on me because I'm a woman"? No, she was just like, I'm a spy," and she used her womanhood to get into stuff because she is called a honeypot. That's what the spies called it. She's a honeypot, and she was kicking everybody's asses. Did she win the hard fights? No, she got her ass beat, and then she found out how to fight back. She had a struggle. She never sit there like, "Oh, I'm at disadvantage because I'm a woman." There's many movies that they sit there and go, "Oh, I can't do this because the men look down on me, and I'm a woman, and as
They
a
do
woman,
that
I have
so
to struggle."
much in movies.
No, it's
now.
not because you're a woman. It's because you suck.
Yeah.
Just say you suck. Star Wars, Rey was a Mary Sue character. She had zero struggle, and people didn't understand that. Like, how is she so strong? How is she able to use all these lost, forgotten force powers that Jedis who have died centuries before were able to use? She never even heard about them.
She was just perfect from the get. Instead of showing like a struggle that she actually learned, even though they somewhat introduced her training. But I think that's what they're showing more in movies, especially when it comes to like, let's just say like women empowerment. They're already perfect. Like there's no struggle. And that's why the characters we brought up before, when it comes to Sigourney Weaver or let's just say like Sarah Connor, they showed struggles in those films. They showed them at their weakest. They showed them in like, in their hardest moments, but then overcoming. And you should do that with every character. And that's what builds a strong character overall. But when you see movies like one that I'll name off the top of my head that was really cringe, I didn't actually see all of it, was the new Charlie's Angels. Now we all know that it's kind of ridiculous anyway, but like I'll say I enjoyed the other ones before. But if you were to watch just like a little bit of it, they put it so much in your face. It's just very annoying. And then all the men act exactly the same. And it's just like everyone's dumb, everyone's just underestimating them, and it just props them up. But to me, what makes a great character is just showing their struggles and showing that they're human. Now, I remember one example we wanted to bring up was with the new Wonder Woman. Now, at least with her, they kind of showed her like, she did train, she did become like, Diana, like Princess Diana that we see. But I think in like other movies that we see, when they try to prop up a strong female character, they're already kind of like perfect from the get. What's another one? Mulan did that. First of all, this chick got like supernatural fighting abilities, where in the cartoon, she struggled and she was training with the men in the camp, and she got her ass whooped until she got better. In the movie,
she started using her brain.
She started using her brain. In the movie, the live action one, she's perfect from the get. She has no struggles. And then they added a strong female villain who also ends up being good. So it's like it just props them up more.
I never watched the live action.
It's weird. It's weird.
Spoiler.
Well, no, I mean, you don't want to see it anyway. They did the same thing. Look, we're going like a Disney rabbit hole. They did the same thing with Princess Jasmine in the Aladdin movie, where she wants to become the Sultan. And that was
She
never
wanted
a
to see
thing.
the world. She wanted to see the world. She was like,
Yeah.
I want to explore the
Yeah,
world.
and
Like,
have Aladdin as
slow
her
down
little
there,
dog
woman.
and stuff. No, but it's just like she wanted to rule over it. And then like she had her own cringeworthy like solo. Like it was the messaging. It was just it's just so apparent in like movies now. And even when you said about Killmonger, like at the when he was just like, oh, we all knew what was it he said about his what ancestors. It's like they knew that it was better to die than be in bondage. I was like, yo, just die already, bro. Just I was like, just die already. Like that was the and then the nerve to say like in recent interviews he says that Killmonger wasn't the bad guy. I was like, no, he was.
Bro,
He
you
was-
just trying
he
to
was
go
the
on a
bad
whole
guy.
genocide. He was ready to go on the whole
He was
genocide.
going
He
on a
was about
whole
to-
genocide. He's like, he's like, he looked at the spears, undetectable and metal detectors. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you're a bad guy, bro. Like you're there's no way you're a good guy.
the thing is, was like with a lot of female characters that that we've seen, there's some new ones that come out that you're like, oh, this is really good. Like, just I enjoy this movie. Like, this movie is good because I don't have to hear about how she's being held back as a female. Like, you could at least see it, but they just like, screw this. Perfect example, the new Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Mm.
Never once did they discriminate on her because she was a girl. She was an outcast because she was a weird kid, and everybody growing up could know what that is. If you're an outcast because you're a weirdo. No one likes you because you're a weirdo. It wasn't because she was a girl. It was like they just felt like she was a weirdo and she didn't believe in ghosts when her grandfather did, and her mother had a struggle that she never knew her father, and like it sat with her.
Yeah.
And she was the main character. She was the main character.
Yeah. I had no problems with it either.
Look at the Jessica Jones show that was on Netflix.
Mhm.
She never complained about her being a girl because she just knew if somebody opened her mouth wrong to her, she slapped the shit out of her.
Yeah, that's
And
what
then
she
she
did
had-
more often than not.
And then she had her only struggle was that she was mentally abused by
An alcoholic.
No, she's a raging alcoholic.
Yeah.
and she was besides that she was abused by Purple Man.
Yeah.
He manipulated her.
Yeah.
So that played onto the fact like there are women out here today that are being manipulated by certain men in power.
Mm.
There are certain men that try to sink them into you, and it sticks with women. And she overcame that. She's like, I'm not going to be controlled by you. I'm not that person anymore. It showed her growth. It showed her struggle and growth.
Mm.
As
Well,
for Wonder
she-
Woman, for Wonder Woman Part 2, it shows struggle, growth, and I don't know what happened after the AIDS because she forgot all her powers in the next movies. Because she forgot how to fly and do magic. So I don't know what the fuck happened there. That dick must have got crazy for her. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Well,
I-
there's a good question. That do you think that movies are targeting an audience that are ignorant to the issues? Like,
I was just about to read it too. Yeah.
yeah, it's a great question.
Yeah, it is.
And I think yes, because I think for the most part, people are way out of touch with a lot of this stuff. Like my wife doesn't like to talk politics and stuff like that, but I will bring up these things occasionally. Like I was going to bring up an instance in the new Sex and the City show. Like they did essentially like a reboot where it's like 20 years later, the ladies are old as fuck, but they're still getting down, So, but like there's like little things that they put in there that now it's an adult show. It's on HBO Max, so there's probably not a lot of kids that are watching it, but they put things in there. I think even for adults who are ignorant to the issues, and I think it's meant to be like it's because it's like normalizing this sort of like talk. Like if you talk about pronouns or if you talk about identity being like the center of like your being a strong woman and independent, you don't need a man, all that stuff. I think it's purposeful. I think they're doing it. I mean, if movies are an avenue for to push culture as they always have been in some fashion, I think they are. I think they're playing to the ignorance of those who are unaware.
But I can't agree with that because with today's modern technology, you cannot go 5 seconds without hearing about something in the news. You could go on Twitter and you could hear somebody complain or advocate for something, or you could go on Google and see it. I mean, it's always in your face. There's no ignorance. There's no more that I'm ignorant. I didn't know this was happening over here. I didn't know this was happening. Maybe. On the other side of the world, maybe because we are American and we don't give a shit what happens overseas, but we want to push our agendas over there. But in America, you cannot go 2 days without hearing about something because you will hear about it. You
Well,
will hear about it.
a lot of my
Yeah,
family isn't aware of like the CRT stuff. Like I've asked and said like, hey,
Are
what do
they
you
in
think of this?
school? Are they in
No,
school?
they're not in so no, but
Ex-
they're still adults. But they're still
Ex-
like our age or
Yeah.
like 5
I
years.
mean,
But
older.
I
if they
still
have
think that there are
kids, they
people.
hear about it. If
Yeah,
they
I
have
still
kids, you
think
hear
that
about it.
people are just though like naive. Even though there's just a large sector of people that do want to deny that certain things are going on. And when we say like even the stuff that we're talking about right now with a message being pushed more in movies or just more in entertainment, there's people that don't believe that. And to me, it's just more blatant more than ever. But I do like to think that even playing on kind of like both sides, there are people who are just really naive to it. And the people who are naive are still, to me, are the ones that are probably more just that will be targeted regardless when seeing these things. Like, for example, with Sex in the City, or I forgot they call it something else. But regardless, from what I heard, from what I've seen before, they were all kind of like being hoes in the other seasons. So trying to be talking about women empowerment and then like pronouns and that being yourself and whatnot, it's kind of completely the opposite of what they used to talk about, at least to me, in this new one.
Well, the new one, one of the things that really stuck out to me was they were one of the couple. I don't know their names. One of the couples, they're meeting with the school principal, and apparently their child wants to be called a different name. Like they identify as non-binary. They're a biological woman, but they're somewhere in between. So they want to change their name, and basically what is told to the parents is that the teachers have assisted the child in claiming this new identity outside of the parents' knowledge. Now, this was just in the news not too long ago. Where
I was about to say, wait, that's the show, but this actually happened.
This actually happened.
Yeah.
Where this woman was like in tears and like enraged in front of this school board, like, how dare you, like, and then they took it a step farther in real life. They went and legally changed the child's name and and their gender in real life. In the show, like the parents are confused. They don't know what's going on, and rightfully so. But and I've heard people say like, oh, I think they're making fun of it. It does not come off as making fun of it. It comes off as like you're trying to basically tell this older generation it's okay for schools to do this with your children. And I just don't. And when I was talking to my wife about it, again, she does not like follow this stuff and she does not care for it. But she was like, this is insane. Like, if anyone does this to our kids, it's gonna be hell to pay, like raising hell. And that's my, like, there's just this subtle messaging now to like the older crowd. Not only are the kids getting it in school and they're told that this stuff is okay to do, but now the adults are being essentially indoctrinated, saying, you know what, if the kids come to you, it's okay, and it's okay for these public school teachers to do this sort of stuff. And I'm sorry, but it's not okay.
But so that's what they're doing in a lot of the movies now. Like with they're just starting to just blame the older generation and then either just blame men. Like circling back to the Charlie's Angels remake, the director pretty much said this movie isn't for men. Don't watch.
But she wanted men to. But she wanted men to see it.
But which is fine. Like there's nothing wrong in the movie.
Elizabeth Banks,
yeah,
right?
But the thing is like when you constantly attack your fan base or call, like, people pick up on that stuff. Like, don't attack your fan base. Look at the
G4.
cop. Not no. I'm not. We're not gonna talk about that.
I know.
But look at Cowboy Bebop.
Mm-hmm.
The actress who played Faye came out, attacked the fan base, and the fans was like, "Cool, your show is dog shit."
Yeah. I mean, it was bad though.
You kept pushing messages. You put it like this: you push messages, bad writing, bad story, and then you try to claim that it's a love letter to the original. No, it was a Dear John letter, and it was bad. The 355, that new spy movie that came out, all it was just like, it's out.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
All they did was tell
exactly. Yeah.
all they did was tell men that it was bad. They just told men they were bad. Men bad. Do I know I'm bad? Yes. Men have caused a lot of shit in history. We know this. Look at all the wars we've been through. It's caused by grumpy old men. And guess what? The next generation is going to have to deal with grumpy old men that gets mad and fight more wars. Yeah. But no one's going to talk about Helena Troy. She was the reason that whole war started. Nobody's going to talk about
What about Helena Troy?
But
she fucked everything up. I mean, she messed everything.
Who started it? we put a woman in the pedestal. He's like, damn, that's some good booty. I gotta go to war for this.
No.
I'm just saying. At the end of the day, like they constantly blame. They blame somebody. It's constantly blaming somebody. We know things suck. We know. As a man, you're gonna be bad because you're this. And you can't be toxic masculinity. You can't this. You can't that.
Well, toxic
Again.
femininity. Jesus Christ! Like, can we
But now
talk
this
about
talk. But you can't talk about that because
It's not real.
it's not a real thing.
No,
But
it
if you go
is.
back and watch movies like what was that movie with Martin and he was dating that rich girl and she went crazy and was beating herself?
Wait, Martin?
Yeah, Martin Lawrence was in it.
And he was with a rich girl that was beating herself.
He was with a girl. He was with some girl, and she was kind of crazy, and she was beating herself. She like there's a scene like she takes some oranges or something and hits herself, and then she calls the cops and she's like, "You did this to me." It's an old movie.
Hmm.
No one talks about that. That they had a movie like that. And then you have the movie Single White Female. You ever saw the movie Single White Female? Crazy movie.
No. I
A
haven't
thin
seen
line
any of
between
them.
love and hate. There you go. That's what it's called. Thin line between.
Let me see that
Bro.
real quick. That sounds familiar. Let me just see like a picture of it.
We're not
But yeah,
saying that.
continue.
We're not here saying that there's all female movies are bad.
Oh,
No.
I remember that. Yeah.
No.
I remember that.
Atomic Blonde, amazing movie. The
Yes.
movie Anna. Anna was another like
Anna
spy
was real
movie.
good.
Yep.
Really good movie. Really
Yeah.
good. When I first saw it, I was like, I don't know, but it was really good. It came out good.
Mm.
Again, use her femininity, use her brains, and look, the twist was amazing. Look at a lot of horror movies. A lot of horror movies have female leads, and they go from struggle to powerful. Look at the Evil Dead remake. The Evil Dead remake. What happened? Strong female lead.
Yeah.
She
I
struggled.
mean, like,
and
she
became a
struggled. Yeah. She
she
struggled.
became a
lot more.
badass at the end.
Yeah. What about Salt?
She-
Do you remember Salt?
Salt was a good movie too.
Yeah. Yeah. That was Angelina Jolie, right? And she was like going after the sleeper agents.
A
and
long
whatnot.
kiss,
Yeah.
a long kiss goodnight.
Oh, Long Kiss Goodnight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Vanessa wants to see that. I was like, you
The
never see
Net.
that with Samuel
The
Jackson?
Net.
Oh, the
Speed
Net.
2. Come on.
Oh,
Look at all
man.
these movies I just said. Now that I heard, no, supposedly they want to do a female Die Hard.
No,
Why?
see,
No.
that's
No.
well, the thing,
Why?
again, this is the thing. We got to stop doing the remakes. Like,
Yeah.
we
I
need-
just want
and
them to leave it alone.
well, and again, isn't this like the point of writing original stories? Some are gonna suck, some are gonna be really good, but that's kind of the point, right? It's like you see what works, you see what doesn't. Sometimes these things become cult classics. You don't know. It can be so damn quirky that it just works in the end. It might bomb at the box office, but it might be great, on video later on. Like, people are so afraid to like iterate on ideas. Yeah, there might not be any like real original ideas left, but so much stuff is pulled from other movies, and that's fine. You do that. You iterate on it. You make it a little better, change it up a little bit. But like doing a carbon copy, but like gender swapping or even race swapping something, it's like you're not okay. So you made Superman black. Okay, well, there's plenty of black superheroes. You talk about this all the time, Dela. Like
Yes.
there's plenty of like really good black superheroes. It doesn't need to be fucking Superman. Like, and it's okay. And the other thing people don't realize, it's okay to kill these heroes off. Like, people die. You can end a story arc. That's part. Like, again, it's like what makes like our whole life good, right? The reason that we live the way we do is because someday we won't be here. So we live the way we can, hard and fast and smart. But at some point, our journey is done. At some point, like Captain America. Captain America's story will be done in the MCU. There's talks about bringing him back. Well, why? Like, his story is done. Like, just either pass the mantle on in a shitty way that they did, or you just make a new hero that can sort of fill his shoes.
Yeah.
People are just so afraid to fail, and it's depressing.
It's because you
Their
have
ideas
to,
aren't good right now. They want to
Or-
bank off the old IPs too.
or you have to just click a check mark. You have to click a check mark. Oh, do we have a black character? Yes. Do we have a female character? Yes. Do we have somebody from the LGBTQ community in the movie? Yes. Do we have a strong female lead character? Yes. Do we have the man who's idiot, bad guy? Yes. Okay, we can make a movie. But what about the story? Who cares? Because these idiots are going to eat it up.
Yeah, but I mean,
We
don't
just
you notice? I still think because I wanted to get onto this part was like at least to me, 2022 will be the year of. I think people are really like smelling the BS now, a bit more than usual, and the stuff that's gonna come out like let's say for example, the Black Little Mermaid that coming out like a couple of years ago probably would have made a bigger impact than it coming out now with the animosity it's gonna get. Like I think that people are more aware of the BS. Like we just like Shagsworth, and even though that 355 movie even came out, and it just capitalized off the fact that it's all women from all different backgrounds. We got Spanish, we got white, we got black, and
and it
it
was
checked all the boxes.
based off an actual historical spy, female spy.
Yeah, and it didn't. And what happened? It's
It only
it's
it
not
cost
existent.
$75 million to make. Only made 4 million.
Yeah. So like look at that, and I think it's just catching. And then we see the success of Spider-Man, which was just nothing but to me escapism, and look how well it did. So the gap is it's like it's there now. I think that it's 2022 to me will at least be the year where Hollywood's gonna keep doing. It's gonna keep pumping out the garbage. Like we're gonna get another Snow White which is with an actress who's of course not Caucasian and really hates white people too. If you look at their tweets, actually really kind of violent
For
person.
real?
And yeah, the person that they got playing the next Snow White, yeah, she's racist. So like you could look on Twitter, and like she was all happy about it too, being casted, and like yeah, so they're gonna do that, and then they're gonna keep releasing the garbage. It's still gonna do bad, but I think it's gonna come up to a point where it's just they can't ignore it anymore. Like I know this goes like deeper, like if we were to talk with like Vanessa, where it's just like, well, we have these powers coming to be, and communism and all these stuff. But I think at the core, Hollywood wants to make money too. So it's gonna eventually get to the point where it's just burning too much holes in their pockets.
At the end of the day, if you slap on just buzzwords, people are gonna watch it. For perfect example, Arcane, the League of Legends Arcane show. It follows the lore very, very well, very well. I enjoy the show. I play League, I know the lore and all that stuff, and it had characters. I didn't think Caitlyn was gay. I just found out she was gay in the show. I was like, oh, she's gay. Anyway, but now everybody's like, oh, this is a show made for gays. It's like, do you know how many gay people are in League of Legends? There's a whole character named Varys, and him and his boyfriend merged together so he could survive. And he constantly talks about that. Like he says, like I carry my love with me, and it's a bow. There's so many characters already established and set up. But when you think of League of Legends, what do you hear?
I just think of toxic asshole.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But
that's all I
the thing
think
is-
about.
the thing is, like we have these established characters, these stories. Let's just keep making more. Like it didn't try to push no agendas, but then you have these weirdos come out of nowhere, like, oh, it's made for the gays and blah blah. Blah. It's like it
Yeah, I don't
drew
like
you
that.
guys in. You guys got caught. You guys got caught now. Now you guys are hooked. Now you guys are gonna all cosplay these characters. Now you guys want to know more. Then you're gonna start playing League of Legends and you're gonna start buying all the skins, and now you're hooked. Oh, here's a new character. Here's the X-Men. Everybody knows the X-Men. Everybody knows Tim Drake. Let's make I said X-Men Tim Drake. let's make Dick Grayson gay. He was able to come out gay because the villains of Gotham. We think the villains are gonna go, hey, you little puff, you little fairy. Everybody's gonna say that. Like, what you think? Like, no, like, don't do this. Like, you could make original characters. I honestly think those two characters from New Warriors, Safe Space and Snowflake, could have worked if their names wasn't what those names.
If their names
you-
didn't play off of, yeah.
Well,
the thing
I'll
is,
just
like-
be honest, the artwork was awful too. So.
And then you push it because I remember in the newspapers, in the daily news, we've had a gay marriage within comics. In the X-Men, we've had that. There's no lack of diversity in comics. There's no lack of diversity in movie stars and actors. You guys erased Blade. When Black Panther came out, you guys erased Blade. You guys
Like
erased him
nothing
from
happened.
history. You erased a black man who was fighting white vampires. When Captain Marvel came out, you guys erased Sigourney Weaver. You guys erased Sarah, not Sarah Connor, the woman who played in doggone stinking Resident Evil.
Mhm.
Black Widow. You guys erased like all these like female superheroes.
Yeah.
You made a black Superman. You erased Icon. I keep telling people you have a black Superman already. His name is Icon, and he was a fucking slave, and he helped with free the slaves. You guys erase people. How many times when Disney releases a new movie, it's the first gay, it's the first lesbian, it's the first.
But then it's not either. Like they lie too. Like
it's so annoying. You guys are erasing people who paved the way,
yeah.
and it's disrespectful. When you remake these movies, at least have some freaking like a little something behind it. If you want to make a freaking female version of what did I say they was gonna do of Die Hard, let it be that it's his daughter and his daughter, and she gets kidnapped and she remembers everything. That's how you make it work. That's how you can make it work. You call it Die Hard. You have Bruce Willis in it for like the first half of the movie, and then she freaking gets captured or something, and she finds a way out. Look what they did with Taken 2.
Now.
Like Taken 2, or was it 3? That was all about the daughter really, and she was doing most of the stuff. I think it was 3.
I've only seen up to 2. Wait, 3? The daughter was doing stuff.
The daughter was more about the daughter.
That's weird. I didn't know that.
You want to make movies with strong female leads and characters. You make it that it's set around them and them only, and that's it. Don't freaking try to bank on the name.
Yeah,
I like that's the problem with a lot of these movies now. They try to cash in on the nostalgia of the old fans, and they look all stupid when they don't understand why people are upset, and they call us assholes and bigots and haters. No, you're using something that we grew up on to make money off of us, and we're not going to let that happen. If you pitch it in a way where it's like, okay, we get this, we're with this, they'll like it. If you gave me Rey struggling and actually things that make sense, like how is she able to go toe to toe with a freaking Sith Lord after just picking up a lightsaber, I don't understand that. If she got her ass whipped like Finn did, notice Finn got his ass whipped.
He got his ass whipped,
and he got cut in the back. He got cut in the back by the white man with a lightsaber.
See, I think you just answered the question that Stone had. So you said you see many movies, books, and shows are based off of each other in some way, form, or fashion. That's why we base things in genre. Could originality be dying out due to lack of creativity? I honestly say that shit all the time. Well, really try not to swear as much, but they say that a lot now. And well, one of the things I do see though, I recognize that I feel like it's a lot of children that are behind these films too. Like, let's just say when it comes to Star Wars or even IPs that we like within Marvel, these are children that didn't have anything to deal with the character. So what they can do is just make a female, or just a family member of theirs, just gay. So it's like, hey, I didn't come up with Wolverine, but we can give him a bisexual son. So it's just, I just think that sometimes when we see these projects kind of collapse, it's activism. It's activists that are in the way of like kind of creating these things.
Well, and they're fair weather
that's
fans.
why I mostly see. Yeah,
they're fair weather fans. They read something or they read a wiki on the characters, and they're like, oh, that's cool, but I could do it better because like the real struggle is my sexuality. Like that's what it comes down to, and it's unfortunate. And if I can, my probably really hot take when it comes to Star Wars is it's unfortunate that we got a story about Rey Palpatine. I mean, whoa, what a twist. But like to me, when I watch those movies, I don't watch it for Rey. I enjoy watching Kylo Ren's story more, even though they like kind of botched that whole like that whole story, in my opinion, like from the books. Like I think I just enjoy Kylo's struggle through those 3 movies because he's the one like fighting the urges of like turning back to the light side. And they highlight that a little bit, but if that had been like the core of the story, like that was the real struggle, and like it all pays off in the end because he comes back and he helps and is, you know, for that last 2 minutes he's a part of the hero story, you know. Like, so that was always my hot take from Star Wars. Everyone hates those films and I don't particularly like them, but if I look at it from the story of Kylo Ren, I think, okay, here's a story that I can work with, and it's something where you have this really bad, like angsty kid who's so conflicted, but like it peaks in the Last Jedi. Like he just totally loses it, and then as the Rise of Skywalker comes to a close, you see him like he loses because he's so blinded by his rage. And I mean, the things that lead up to it are kind of BS because the Force heal and that garbage. But like that story is so much more compelling to me than this like girl who just like picked up a lightsaber and was like, "Hey, how about this?"
I mean, his redemption was a better story than like to me the entire trilogy.
But it made sense.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like I said, like we just constantly playing things, and there's no lack of originality because you look what's happening. The freaking Asian market is kicking our asses, and guess what we're doing?
I watch now.
we see something, we go, we're gonna make a copy of that. The Raid of Redemption, we're gonna Americanize it. The Train to Busan, Last Train to New York. Let's go.
Alive. They did Alive.
Alive.
Yeah, with the kid that was stuck in his apartment. It was a blonde hair Korean kid, and they redid it with the kid from Teen Wolf, and they put it on Netflix. And it looked whack. They did it almost scene for scene.
Notice in the Asian market right now. You know why they don't care? Because it's like we just gonna make our movie. Mind you, there's not much of diversity they could put in there, but all they could do is South Korean, North Korean. You have some.
But you notice that they make the story super good when it's just like, I'm sorry, but there is no that like that. That's a great point because there is no because everyone, let's just say Korean movie, everyone's Korean mostly, and it's just like they mostly bank on it being a great story. So there's no excuse. You don't hear anyone struggling.
Look at Squid Games. You had the Indian guy.
Yeah,
I never knew there was a whole big discrimination against Indians and where that took place. I didn't know that. But now you know, and now you see it. Like there's immigration, like people scatter all over the world, and some countries they go, they're either accepted or discriminated on. But you saw his story; he wasn't discriminated on because of skin color. He got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
He got hurt. And he was an immigrant, and he was afraid. He was trying to make a living. He wasn't like. That's what we saw when you saw his story. It was like a man struggling. He needed this money. Anybody was struggling, needing this money. But it wasn't like, oh, I can't do this because I am brown, and I'm an immigrant. You guys look at me different. No, it was like I have a handicap, and you guys look at me different.
If the U.S. did Squid Games, it would have sucked ass.
Dude, if the U.S. did Squid Games, it'd have been ridiculous.
It would have been bad.
The Asian market does these things, and they don't care. But the thing is, the Western Hollywood, we just constantly steal from them. Why? Because we're too afraid to take risk. The movie Nobody, people hated that movie. You know why? Because it didn't have check marks. It didn't list check marks. It was just a white man going up and beating people. It was white male rage. So what? Let me see this old white man who looked like he just take out my trash, beat up some other white people. This shit was crazy. I enjoyed that movie.
They try to say John Wick was all white rage too. I didn't even know that the white man rage thing was a thing. Bro, I just like things just being made up at the point. Like,
I want to see white people kill other white people. That is fun to me. That shit is fun.
Well, somehow they made a story about a guy's dog getting killed into the most badass action movie.
Right? Like, that's crazy.
What was another movie with Bob Odenkirk? Nobody? Was that? That was the other one that people were like, oh, another more white male rage. And I was like,
yeah, that's what he just said. Yeah.
Is that what you said? I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't go to the movies to see myself as color wise. I go see a movie based on how the character is, the heroism. There's movies that I side with the villain. Do I see myself as a big purple motherfucker thing? Like a lot of y'all niggas need to go.
But you can sympathize with.
I can sympathize with him. He was like, yo, I know what it's like for famine. No one was listening to me, and here's what I would have to do. I could sympathize with Ultron. Ultron was like, yo, mankind is the reason half this shit is going on. Y'all gotta go.
I'd be stuck in traffic and be thinking like, yo, Thanos was up to something.
Whiplash. Whiplash from Iron Man 2. You stole my shit.
Yeah,
my father's work. You stole it.
That is true. True.
I can sympathize with that. I didn't relate to them because I was a Russian dude. I wasn't Russian. But I relate to that. Killmonger, I can relate to Killmonger too. Yeah, y'all motherfuckers killed my father. Yeah, and then y'all forgot about me.
Yeah,
Nah, I'm coming to
that's
take
the
your
only thing I'd
shit.
be mad about. Yeah.
Fuck all this, y'all. Oh, y'all got all this kingdom. Yo, I'm gonna take your kingdom, and I'm gonna go out there and start making genocides.
Yeah. Well,
I like Shagworth's like, yeah, it's not good.
well, I've said that a lot actually, especially about Thanos. Like people have been like, I was like, this is like one of the first times that I felt like I almost felt bad. I felt bad for Thanos afterwards because like you understood his pain. Like he was a bad dude, and one of the things that made that villain work so well was that you had this. You knew there was someone pulling the strings from the shadows, right? You knew that someone was behind all this stuff that was going on. But guess who didn't know? All the characters in the movie. No one that we knew. The audience were sitting there like on the edge of our seats, like him. Oh my god! But everyone else was totally oblivious until pretty much until Infinity War. Like that was like the first time these people are met with this evil man or villain that like, oh my god, now it's too late. There's nothing we can do. The chessboard is set. The pieces are in place. What do we do? It's too late. Now you got to go toe to toe with this badass, right? And it's like that's again good storytelling, but it took forever to get there. Now everyone's trying. Like you watch the Eternals. Holy shit, man!
I was
Like,
about to say
mess.
that's a perfect example of what we were just kind of talking about now, where it's just if you look at the interviews and everyone talking about it, like, oh, this is the most diverse movie. This is the movie where everyone from all different backgrounds, and they did not once concentrate on the story. And you can tell that the story wasn't really concentrated on it as much because when you watched it, it was a bunch of things together. Right. It was like, all right, we understand, like, some people have to die for some people to live. Oh, we understand some people's struggles of this chick turning crazy because of her memories. And it's just like, there was a whole bunch of issues in the movie and it just didn't work because I'm sorry, the story wasn't the forefront of it. It just kept concentrating on everyone being different.
I want to comment on Space Zombies thing. Here's why Thanos didn't double the resources. Here's why.
I saw that, yeah.
When you double resources, guess what happens? There's somebody say, you know what? You have more than me. I want it.
Right.
And guess what would have happened? More wars, more death and destruction. So if you would double the resources, you could cause more people to come around.
Yeah.
That's
double
why
the size of the universe. Double the size of the universe.
Guess
not
what?
A bad idea.
Oh, your universe looks weird. I like it. I want it. Do you guys not read comics?
You're right, though. You're right.
But at the end of the day, but going back to what you said with the Eternals didn't make sense to me. It was a history lesson. And it still didn't make sense to me how somebody could create perfect beings and one is deaf and one still has memory issues. Did you skip something?
I
did you screw somewhere up?
I said that from the beginning.
One can heal. Would you not go like, oh, you're deaf.
Brain.
Let me heal you.
Yeah.
Or let me heal your brain. Or be like, this chick gotta go. So, like, I mean, I sided with Icarus.
I did
like,
too. I'm not gonna lie. I sided when they were saying things. Oh wait, that's spoilers to Eternals. But I sided with Icarus when it came to this because I'm just like, yo, the Celestials, who are these he's like basically gods who created in the Marvel universe's way that they created everything, and they made a deaf Eternal, which they gave pockets of cosmic energy, which is why they can live forever basically and have these abilities, and made them defective. But then also, they're the reason why all of them billions of people and multiple planets are created. They're like, yeah, but we love Earth. And it's like, that Earth had to survive because of the death of another planet, right? At no point at all in the movie did I side with the Eternals, which was funny to me. I just didn't side with them.
But the thing is, at the end of the day, what the message I got from there, here's the message I got from the Eternals with the whole Icarus. Like, you believe in the faith so much because that's all Ajax pushed in him. Because he questioned his faith, and Ajax was like, don't question your faith. Don't question your faith. Don't question your faith. Don't question your faith. Then when Ajax was like, you know what? I'm questioning my faith. It's like, bitch.
You just told me not to question.
The fuck?
And I felt the same. I felt the exact same way. And even with as far as the Celestials went, you're just like, okay, they're terrifying beings because they're enormous. When he shows up at the end, like, and you see like basically the silhouette of him from planet Earth, like, holy crap, like that thing is huge. Or him, or Tiamat coming up out of the ocean, like holy crap, like the sheer size of this is like terrifying, and that's about it. Like who, like I don't know. I guess they could set up more, but again, like I've seen too much of the Celestials already. I'm not afraid of them, and they don't pose any sort of threat anymore. Like or I mean, they're gonna return, cool, but what I thought was just really weird too is like they're like going around and like telling everybody they come across who they are, and everyone's just like, oh, okay, you're alien, you're basically gods living amongst us, ha ha ha. And like,
Yeah, that was weird.
you just
I mean,
found-
at this point, you have all these other shits coming from space. Do you really think people care?
Yeah,
No, but
because like the
still-
Avengers were already around, so I guess saying you're an alien wasn't like,
Like,
the
oh,
most
yeah, alien.
outlandish thing.
I guess I don't know. I guess
We
I
got
kind of-
Thor, who's a guy. We got the Hulk running around, and then they got attacked in New York. They're like, "Well, we know aliens exist."
But like
But,
that's the other thing. Like this world doesn't fully like they do talk. They talk about the snap or whatever, but they don't
Yeah.
really like. I don't know. I just feel like this world is sort of devoid of this trauma at this point. Which I think if 5 billion people were snapped away from the world, I think it would take a while, for everyone to sort of
But
regain a
but
foothold. But
if you look at that, you look at the what ruined that movie. The story ruined the movie.
oh yeah,
Mhm.
You had a really good, strong cast. You had a great lineup of cast people. You had fucking Selma Hayek. You had fucking Angelina Jolie. You had fucking the dude for Game of Thrones. You had a whole
Yeah.
bunch. You had a great
Had
cast.
two dudes from Game of Thrones.
You had a great, strong cast, and that's what you guys banked on. That's it. It was a
Angelina
cast
stole
that was
that
like,
show.
look at all these famous people we got. That's
Yeah.
all you banked on. The story was fucking lackluster.
It
You
was.
could have done so much better. You could have added an actual. You could have added an actual villain. You could have added a celestial who came to Earth and was like, "You guys are all fucking up, and I'm going to destroy this stupid planet of yours."
Mhm.
But you didn't. There was just, what was the message? What was the message?
Diversity, inclusion.
Diversity. That's it.
I was about to
Inclusion.
say, like, that's
Equity.
all it was. Like, if you were to look at the movie, it's like, what is the message? Like, I feel like that's it. Like, right there. Like,
Well,
Like-
and I feel like they unknowingly, like again, I don't know how you guys felt about it, but I thought Angelina Jolie stole. I mean, she's a seasoned
did.
actress, right? She
She
was
did.
the best person. But again, it wasn't because she stood up there and said, "I'm a powerful woman.
no, she was just
I have the
badass.
power." No, she was just badass. The way she carried herself, even the character was written really well. I mean, like actually seeing a good version of like Athena, like this is where the Greek goddess came from. Like she was so incredibly good, and for no other reason than she just put her heart and soul into that, and just the good writing. Like she and her choreography looked natural. Everyone else's looked kind of forced and like kind of
Lazy.
Kumail doing his like little finger pistols, like
He got built for no reason. He got built to do finger guns.
right.
Like, he literally got like yoked up. First of all, he got yoked up on Marvel's dime, so that's that's why he chose to do it. But just to see him fight, when I saw him doing the finger pew pew, I'm like,
And the
word,
side-
bro. Like you went and got this body to go pew pew. Like this is what
No,
what
he
we're
got
doing.
the body because he wanted to look like a Bollywood star. But I would
Yeah,
like to see freaking somebody run up on him and swing at him, and he has to go hand to hand. So it made
Yeah.
like the Eternals spend all this time on Earth doing nothing. The only one that did something was the one who could control minds, and he was like, "I'm gonna make my whole cult. Here we
Yeah.
go. Here's my own commune. I have a
Wait.
cult. These people
Yeah.
listen. I
and
don't
how
care."
about how about the whole like so the Eternals are supposed to basically protect humans, so like
From
but-
the deviants. Yeah.
from the deviants, but like Selma Hayek didn't even like she could communicate with the Celestials, which is great, but she just like gave up and died. Like she didn't fight. She had no way to fight back, and I just thought, what a real. This is not the group of people
way-
I think you want.
Yeah, I mean that was just lackluster what happened with her. Huge super spoiler, sorry about that. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, the way that it was very lackluster. Me and my dad had legit had a conversation in between watching the movie at the movies. So that's how I know we just wasn't into it. We were just like, "Oh yeah, we're watching the movie." So it was bad.
The stuff they're doing with everything now is like, I'm tired of the messages. I'm tired of being spoken to. I'm tired of being yelled at.
Preach
I'm
that.
tired.
Oh,
Like
no,
from
I just-
Hollywood, of all
I
things,
just-
they're preaching at us. Like,
I just want to watch a movie. I just want to go to a movie and be spaced out. I want to see nonsense. Pacific Rim. What's the story behind Pacific Rim? Aliens, giant robots. That's all I
Kaiju,
needed.
baby. Woo.
That's
yeah,
all I needed.
give me that.
Give me more of that. Mind this shit. That made money. There's so I saw a movie the other day, Sweet Girl. Sweet Girl with Jason Momoa on Netflix. Crazy
Sweet
twist.
Girl.
Oh, I've heard about
I was
that.
like, oh shit. This
Mm.
movie is all right.
Sweet Girl.
It's not
Yeah,
the
I have to
greatest,
check that
I'll
out.
put that on my
but
list.
it's
Okay.
okay.
I just
Then I
started
saw
watching Peacemaker.
I heard
I
that
saw
was
the
really
kid.
good.
Then I saw the movie with
James Gunn's
Jake-
liberal side showing
with
that.
Wow.
Jake Gyllenhaal, and he's like a 911 operator.
Oh,
And The Guilty is called The Guilty. But I'm watching it, and then I find out it's a remake of a Danish movie. It's like, you motherfuckers gonna come up with something of your own?
just like Old Boy.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
amazing movie.
Yeah.
He fucks his daughter. Crazy.
Well, come on, man. Like, you can't be throwing it out there like that.
Listen, if you haven't seen Old Boy,
Yeah, no,
if you haven't
I
seen
mean,
Old Boy
they
yet-
can't see it now.
but you gotta wait.
God.
But at the end of the These movies, when
It's
you
a
have
great
a twist,
movie. I would
when you
still
have-
say see it, but don't say the
when you
spoiler.
when you have crazy twists like that, it's like, what?
Yeah.
Well,
It's
can
the
I-
only huge twist.
Can I make a good recommendation?
I don't give a fuck. This old boy is like 20 years old.
Yeah.
Shut up.
What recommendation?
Well, so if you like big kaiju's and stuff, if you haven't, where's the? Oh, I don't have it up here. It's the comic. I think it's by Image. It's called Ultra Mega. It's a really cool comic about kaiju's. Like these, like people get this infection that like turns them into kaiju's, but then there's like these good guys who like can turn themselves into their like own version that protects humanity from them. It's pretty bad.
So it's Ultraman.
Yeah.
It's fucking Ultraman. Yeah.
This one's cool. I think it's pretty.
No, it's
damn cool.
Ultraman. Thank you.
I still check it out.
Anyways,
At least you
for
didn't
a
say
TV show-
spoilers.
It's fucking Ultraman.
For a TV show, there's actually one out on Showtime. It's called Yellow Jackets. It's
I heard of
Oh,
that.
what is that? Is
I,
that
I keep hearing about Yellow Jackets.
so
And
it's,
yeah.
give me a synopsis.
so basically, I mean, it's Lord of the Flies with a girls soccer team, and you would think,
Really?
yeah. So you would think that it's this like really kind of woke show, and there's a few moments where I kind of rolled my eyes and was like, all right, fuck, you know, like they kind of hit me with the message. But for the most part, so it takes place on two timelines. It takes place when the girls crash in the I'm guessing what is the Rocky Mountains. So they crash in the Rocky Mountains and they're lost for like 18 months.
Oh.
And they so they got to fend for themselves, and they basically, like Lord of the Flies, they set up this sort of like society where there's a leader, there's conflict, you know, and it gets gnarly. I mean, I won't spoil anything if you're gonna
So
watch
wait. You're saying it's a female version of Lord of the Flies that's
Right.
actually good because the story is good.
the story. Yeah, it's very well written. My wife and I
Oh,
really enjoy it.
so shit could work if you have a fucking good story. It's a female version of Lord of the Flies. They didn't call it Lord of the Flies. They
did.
called it Yellow Jackets. They
Yep.
changed it. So when you look at it, you can go, wait, this is Lord of the Flies, and this is really fucking good.
What is this stream on?
It's on Showtime.
Showtime. All right.
Yeah.
Like the Equalizer movie, the Equalizer show, horrible show. I watched 2 episodes. I wanted to slip my wrist.
Oh, with Queen
Is that what Queen
right?
Latifah?
Yes.
Queen Latifah's. I was like, I just recognized that. I was like, oh yeah, I remember they're doing a
I
show.
still-
Oh wait,
listen.
Queen Latifah's in it. Oh,
I can't believe Denzel Washington old ass fighting people. So why you got Queen Latifah old ass fighting people? I can't. I'm done.
They're
But
like,
the
we
end of
need
this-
black
But at the end of the
women.
day, Denzel sold that shit. He
Yeah.
sold it. His old ass sold that shit. Same thing with Keanu Reeves' old ass selling shit. As long as you can sell it, you can make it work. Look at that black Western movie that came out. The
Oh, it's on Netflix, right?
Yeah, was it
I've
the Harder They Fall or something?
I didn't see it because I
But
was
here's the
just
thing. It's a good. Here's the thing.
it's
Good movie.
good.
I enjoyed the movie. Really, I enjoyed the movie. It's based off a true. It's based off a true Western gang. It's based
Okay.
true all black cast, done by a black soundtrack. They everything black power all over. Good. Guess what? Guess what? People were upset. You know why? It
Right.
wasn't historical and accurate because the one of the female characters in history, she was a heavy set woman, but now it's played by a skinnier, light skinned woman. Somebody said, "Oh, there's no who could they have got to play her? The chick that played Tasty in fucking Orange Is New Black, who's on Peacemaker. That's who could have played
Oh,
her." So,
yeah.
but at the end of the day, you got something all black. People still upset,
She's actually kind of annoying in Peacemaker. I'm not gonna lie.
but still, she's still a good actress.
Oh yeah.
She's still a good actress. At the
All
end of
right.
the day, it's like, meh.
Yeah. Well, we actually gonna start heading off now. We got that we had Shagsworth for a limited time here. But yeah, Della, if you're up to still actually play some Breakpoint, maybe if you want to later on, or if you want
Yeah,
to stay
yeah, I
mad at
should.
that. Cool. Well, anyone want to? Well, I actually put everyone's things, their links in the description anyway. But y'all want to still plug anything in or any projects that you're doing?
I mean, just that I stream on Twitch Friday through Monday from about 8:45 p.m. Mountain Standard Time till around 12:30 in the morning. I just right now I'm playing Dark Souls 3. I'm like really addicted to Souls games right now. Attempting to get good. I'm on the Nameless King right now, and he is whooping my ass, dude.
Have fun.
He's
Have fun with
spanking
him.
me.
Have
Yeah,
All
fun.
right.
so
Well, I wanna see that then. Yeah. What about
um,
you, Della?
Um, you can follow me on all the platforms I'm listed. I'm getting ready to make a video on the erase of the change of Dr. Martin Luther King's words by white
Mm.
liberals because they want to be more inclusive to everybody. So look for that.
All right, cool. No, thanks a lot, guys, for coming on. Like I said, we're probably gonna have more meetings to get this more structured out. But I want to thank everyone that was in here in the chat talking with us, and just keep it going. So I love y'all. Have a great weekend, and I'll see y'all next week.
all
Take
right.
care.
Thank you.
Later, guys.